Hello, hello to our today's panel on the film, the documentary Bigger Than Us by Flore Vasseur. We are organizing this panel with UniFrance. UniFrance, as you might know, is the promotion agency for French cinema and TV content worldwide. And I am Daniela Elstner, head of UniFrance, and I will be the moderator for more or less 1 hour talking about Bigger Than Us, film distribution, film sales, and film production. And Flore, I think the most important thing, also about what it is to be a director and a director of such a great film as Bigger Than Us. To start with, I think Bigger Than Us is more than a documentary. Flore, maybe you will agree to that. I think it's a project coming out, what I read, of a simple question of a 7-year-old child saying, well, if our planet dies, Mama, how do I survive? What is my space in it? And that's something that animated you to start this project, to go out and actually propose or try to propose a sort of an answer. And I think the answer you propose with your film is something that is also wider and larger than actually a film that you might see in cinema, because I think I can say that for all participants today, it's a commitment. It's a commitment for all of you. And I think you have been part of it since the very beginning, and I will introduce you now, but I think I wanted to mention that before, because all people who are following us today and in the future weeks, because we will screen it on our website and on our social media. I think you all have been part of an adventure that needed your time, your energy, and let's face it, also probably your money. So we will talk about all that, and I will introduce you in the way I see you. Well, first Flore, because I already mentioned you, Flore Vasseur, the director of the film. I have then Sarah Chazelle from Jour de Fête, French distributor. Sarah, you will tell us maybe more when I address you directly the question about since when you exist, your company, what you are doing. But mainly your main job is distributing films in France. Nicolas Eschbach from Indie Sales Film, like you are selling films, meaning that you take the films, you take care of them, and you sell them all over the world. You bring them to festivals. You have this great job to be the one actually in the middle to try to get it out of France and bring it to the world. Denis, Carot, Elzevir film, the lucky producer and probably also the very busy producer of the film. And Marc Smit from Cineart, who actually brings, like Sarah Chazelle, the film to the screens. And as we are talking today, being more or less, or not really, but at least digitally in Amsterdam for the documentary film festival ITFA, we invited Marc Smit from Cineart, who is constantly working in the Netherlands to bring you great films from all over the world, and Bigger Than Us is part of the films they are distributing, and it will be soon on screens in the Netherlands, but Marc, you will tell us more about it a little bit later. So Bigger Than Us, I just sold in Nicolas, you will tell us more, 10 to 20 territories. It went to festivals all over the world. I think there are still requests every day and every night arriving on the web, on the emails of the sales agent, the distributor, and even on Flore's email, I guess. You had to deal with the complexity of the COVID crisis during the shooting, even during the distribution. So you have it all, you had it somehow all. And I want to start with you, Flore, because now, I mean, the film has been released in France, the film has been to festivals already, but you're still not finished with your work for the film. Do you think that with this documentary, with this way of working, with what you did for the film, you actually propose a new and different strategy for all of the people we see here, producer, distributor, sales agent? Is it something that you work very differently on the distribution system, but also on the production system? I think you had very lot of commitments that you decided from the very first beginning.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us. For this, I have to bring aboard Denis Carot, because he's my partner in crime for everything that we do around the film, and we will not be there without his commitment also to follow our intuition. Since the very first day, we knew that Bigger Than Us would be more than just a film, and it's not just a film, but I mean it would be like, yeah, you mentioned, in an adventure, a collective, something that will unfold. And that would be different all along the way. When we start the production with Denis, we started with a crowdfunding campaign that launched the film. Then after each filming, we went back in Paris and we organized debrief in public. All of these debrief were free and open to public. And during this moment, we were discussing with the participants to the crowdfunding campaign about our film and what we have learned, what we had learned in several countries. So since the very beginning, we had this idea of working with a crowd, with sharing everything that we had grasped everywhere, because we had this intuition that we will not have time. And that was in 2019. That was before COVID. And I don't know why, but we had this intuition that we had to go fast and that we have to give back and share the material and the ideas very soon. Then COVID happened and we had to edit under COVID constraints, and then the release of the film. But the release of the film with Denis, even during the editing moment, we were already crafting this idea that we had to work on a strategy to have the maximum of impact for our film. You cannot have this kind of film and just go away after you release. It's even it's an ethical problem, even issue. I mean, we go big with many ideas and we want to support them as far as we can. And obviously the film is one big part of that, but not the only one. And we are lucky enough to have found many partners. I would say that we're not necessarily all in the cinema industry, but Nicolas and Jour de Fête have helped us a lot to craft this strategy, to have the means, including the financial means, to build this website, to build the content, to build additional content, a lot of videos and things like that. And Jour de Fête has invested on educational materials also. So it's something that we shared, that this film was the starting point of something bigger. But we're happy that the film was in theater, and is in theater. And yes, that's a challenge, but I will not go there because I know everybody in the room is challenging with the same thing. But we are happy we have the impact strategy, because the truth is that today we have ally on the ground, and our allies are cinemas, but teachers and companies. Teachers, companies, NGOs are taking the film and using them for their own stakeholder. Would it be student? Would it be employees? Would it be a member of an association, politician, etc.? And honestly, we thought about this campaign on a different environment, but I really believe that without that, I don't know where we will be today, but that would be very different. And today, really, we have this kind of both, like the strategy campaign, the impact strategy that is really pulling the film and supporting it in a very big way. And I must say that I'm super grateful to Jour de Fête, who had built on this idea and innovated, and they will explain how, to make it happen, because I think we have done something with this 100,000 tickets in France that I don't know if anybody has ever done it. At least in France, I think nobody did it. And they took this idea and make it happen. And without that, we will never have managed to do it.
Denis, I think let's say bigger than a film. Is it something that from the very beginning you changed in the way you produced? Did you actually think and implement from the very beginning, or like there is a fantastic, we will give you the details later. There's a fantastic website. There's a lot of things done around the film. I know that the distributor and also sales agent helped, but at what point did you put that into the strategy of the production of the film?
Well, as Flore said, from the very beginning, we thought it was more than a film, only a film. For myself, I had already an experience like that since I produced Johann Arthus Bertrand's film called Home, which was also some kind of an adventure. So when Flore told me about her project, we met more than 3 years ago. We knew each other before, but when we talked about her project, I was totally convinced at the first conversation, and I really wanted to go along with her and produce the film with her. So we of course discussed about where we should go with the film, to theaters or why not platforms. But for me, it would never have been the same if we would have produced the film for Netflix or another platform, because I still believe in the role of the international festivals. And as you mentioned in the introduction, we went to Cannes, we went to San Sebastian, now IDFA. So the film and many other festivals are asking for the film all over the world. And this is part of the strategy. And I always said to Flore, you see, if your film has the capacity to go to a film like Cannes, we will have the press, we will have an impact just going to these big festivals, international festivals. And I think they have still a very, very important role to play. And it goes along with the impact strategy Flore was mentioning, because our goal was to touch as large an audience as possible, but not only in France, internationally. And where can you have a wider audience for international exploitation than in this big festival, and Cannes being the first one, of course. So we had in mind that the film should go to Cannes, and this could be an event, and this could be this could have the most powerful impact for the release of the film. And so yes, of course, we also not from the beginning, but since we started, we had in mind, since we started shooting, we had in mind that we would have to produce additional content. Flore had this idea of this big website. Our first target was the young audience and to touch the young people. And so we also had with Jour de Fête a big campaign on the social medias and so on. So everything went this way.
Maybe before I come to Nicolas, because I think you really were there from the very beginning also with great ideas how to sell the film to buyers. But I think maybe Sarah because we heard it already twice, and I think it's good to know this 100,000 young people thing. I think it's great. So can you explain us where it came from, what it is exactly, and how it went? Because you already did it, so and I think successfully did it.
Yes, thank you very much, Daniela. Thank you for having Jour de Fête on board of this discussion. It's great to meet to see lots of people who were involved in the release of the film worldwide and the production. Yes, so we did release the film on the 22nd of September in France. It's a date that we decided together with Flore and Denis and all the film team. because we thought it was quite nice to have the film just after the school started in France. And one of the big ideas we had, I could tell you a lot about the French release, but to go straight to the 100,000 tickets, I think it's an idea that came through Flore, and we had the great chance to have the support of a group called the Boulanger and the United Bee company, who financed 100,000 tickets for people below 27 years old. So we decided that these tickets should go to the young audience, as the film mainly aims at touching this age group. So from, let's say, 11 years old to 27 years old. So we organized with the cinemas. It was quite a challenge, very interesting. I think we all learned a lot through this experience, but the idea was to work with as many cinemas as possible. So the very little cinema in a very tiny town up to the big UGC Léal in the center of Paris, and to make sure that as many people as possible from this age group could see the film and benefit from this possibility to see the film without paying. So we organized a lot of premieres before the 22nd of September. The idea was to have on the 21st of September as many screenings as possible, but it went actually a little bit, we started earlier with the week that before the 22nd of September, we started having some groups of people coming to see the film in various hours of the day and various types of cinemas. And also it continued after the 22nd, since the main audience we had, and that was a great surprise and very nice, very welcome surprise. We had a huge support from the teachers and the school. So we targeted the teachers, and we managed, we realized that when we offer some tickets to the students, it's much easier than it is usually to have young people coming to the cinemas. So we have, up until now, a lot of schools coming to see the film. And just to give you an idea, we had 210 cinemas screening the film on the first week. And today we have still 65 cinemas screening the film, mainly for schools this week. So I think it was a great success for us to be able to organize these screenings.
And did you make specific materials because I guess Flore couldn't be at every possible screening, even though she might have wanted to, but so what did you do, like very specific materials for the young generation? Or
yes, we did two Flore and her team developed a great website, which is a fantastic possibility to have resources and ideas also for future actions of the people who come to see the film. And on our side, we worked with Zero de Conduite, which is a group of people working with teachers, and they have the particularity to work to really do some educational kits that relates directly to the school programs. For each year, they manage to dig out of the film the elements that can be worked on by the teachers in the schools. So that's always a great support for the teachers. A lot of the teachers in France know them. So with their help, we managed to have a kit that's now available on the website of the film, biggerthanus.film. And I think it was really, really one of the great things that we had for the promotion of the films towards a young audience. Another one was done by Amnesty International, which is one of the 35 organizations that supported the film. We had somebody called Melanie Simon Franza, who we work with on a lot of films. and he worked during several months with the idea to develop networks with NGOs and various groups of people who worked on subjects that the films directly relates to. So that was also Amnesty International did a kit that's very useful. So it's together with the great, I think it was a very strong digital campaign. We had digital promotion campaign and direct mailing to the teachers and to the schools. So it's a combination of all that that makes the film available to young audience. Yeah.
I will just add that we also had the support of the Ministry of Education, and that's also really helped. And on the website, there's a lot of, I mean, the website is free of charge, is under license, Creative Commons license. It's really made for to be useful. So whatever people feel after the film, they can come and either just learn more or go and teach. We were, I think, all very fond of this sentence of Melati, our main character, who say we have to educate each other, and that is really the role of the website.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And maybe it's the moment also because you have a very famous, if I may say so, co-producer who came on board. I don't know, maybe Flore. I think I read that it's actually through you that Marion Cotillard came on board. And then Nicolas, maybe you can follow up with to what extent it helped you also to get it on the international sales track. So Flore, maybe just a word on Marion Cotillard and her involvement in the film as co-producer, I can say.
Yeah, she joined Denis and I as a co-producer. Marion really helped, obviously, on the many contacts that you have to have in the industry to have your film, get there. But I would say she also offered me a lot of support, psychological support and artistical support. A lot of my team, the one who traveled with me, the key talent, the key artistic talent, like for example, the DOP is somebody she had worked for a long time. And that person alone came with a lot of also talents. So for me, that would have never been somebody I think would have been able to approach alone. And that triggered a lot of things. So, and at the editing, Denis could talk about that. Like she was, obviously Denis and I were constantly working together, like day to day, every day. And Marion had a more distant look at what we were doing. And that distant look also helped us at a moment where maybe Denis and I would have been satisfied with what we had. And now she asked us to go back. And that was the hardest part, but we did it. And I mean, so that is not just a name on a billboard. That is really somebody who committed herself, both artistically and she was of great support, obviously, for everything that Nicolas is doing.
So I'll go a little backwards in time. So it started, I guess, with a lunch with Denis. We've known each other for a long time, and then we had been working together on Marie's Story by Jean-Pierre Améris, etc. And then he told me about Flore's project, and I really thought it was really, interesting because it's not it's not just like saying, okay, this is what happens, but it's like a real message of hope and things we can do, like activists. So it's not only like a kind of saying, okay, the situation is so, and that's it. It's really something where you can do many things. We know that, Sarah told about everything, she did together with Flore and Denis in France. And I really believed it was a great project. So after the phase of negotiation, minimum guarantee, etc., we agreed on the conditions, and then we
yes, because just Nicolas, for our public, just that someone like a sales agent or a distributor has to come up with some money upfront to actually get the rights for the film. So it's an investment. It's an on-the-top investment of time, of commitment, but it's also really real money. And it's very important because without this investment, the films could not get, very often could not get fully financed. So thank you to all of you, because that's also a big contribution you do for general production.
Thank you, Daniela, for the precision. But also, I mean, you know, when we do the acquisition of a film, it's not only myself, but it's all the team, you know, together inside of Indie Sales. And we have different age groups. So like young, like 20 something, 30 something, 40 something. So it was like a real enthusiasm. And then if you want to, in a few words, what we did to launch internationally the film. So basically we have to show things or images first. You know, we speak in different markets and film festivals to the buyer, to the distributors, like Marc and some others around the world. And we do it together, you know, speaking with the production to show what we have in kind of pictures, teaser, etc. So basically we decided to launch the film in Cannes in 2019. We didn't have much. It was just like an announcement in Variety, the trade, the professional press, saying, okay, this is no. And then we managed to show like a small teaser, like a few, maybe 1 minute or something of the movie, so the buyers, the distribution company could understand what it's maybe more about, because it's not only one activist speaking about what she does, but it's Melati traveling around the world, you know, speaking with different people around the world, in Brazil, in etc. And it's not only about climate; it's about women's rights, it's climate, etc. Flore would speak better about it than me, but that's what I liked also in the project, you know, saying it's for different causes. And what I want to say about this in terms of sales. It's that many distributors decided to pre-buy the film, which means basically when you pre-buy, you trust the salespeople, you trust the director, you trust the producer, because basically they haven't seen the film completed and they really believe in the project in their own country. So that's what I want to stress about this film and project, that it's been a lot on pre-sales, you know, more than completed. And then the COVID appeared. And so we had to find something, you know, we were thinking with Flore and Denis and Marion, what can we do in terms of to attract the buyers, to talk about the film and so on. So in Cannes 2020, basically, so it was like an online market, so like on Zoom, and we managed to organize together with Melati, who was based in Indonesia, Flore in France, Marion in France, and it was moderated by Tina Fischer from CPH Doc. And basically, we did a kind of Q&A for like 45 minutes with all the questions that buyers could have, and we recorded it, and also we sent it to some buyers. So some people who had pre-bought, like Moritz from Core Germany, you know, he sent the recording of all this Q&A to the marketing team, you know, in Germany. So it's been useful on live, but it's been also useful to record it and as a tool to, you know, to get to be fed, you know, from Flore, and to know what, you know, it's always interesting to speak with them and know what the director wants to say and communicate about the film. And that was really nice, you know. So we announced it, you know, in Variety, it's going to be online with, and of course Marion helps, you know, with her name and so on. So it was like really, really great to organize it, and also to I think it was really useful for that. And then to keep on time, you know, in terms of sales and so on. So then we had the real, so we did some sales, so Benelux, Marc and Stefan from Belgium, Netherlands, but some other territories. Well, I spoke about Germany, but there was Switzerland, Poland, ex-Yugoslavia, and some others came on, like Australia, New Zealand, Middle East, etc. So, and then there was Cannes, and Cannes, we were, as Denis was saying, like very lucky, you know, we had the film selected in the climate section, and it's been great to make an event. So like we did an online event, we decided to have finally an event where everybody could get together and, you know, meet and speak and promote. So we hired some American PR people who have done a great job, you know, in terms of press, because Flore did a lot of press with Marion, etc. Melati. So I mean, there was Melati, Mo, and Mary in Cannes, so 3 activists. who came to Cannes, and so there was all this press and everything events that helps, you know, to promote the film. I want to thank also Sarah and Flore and Denis again, because also on the other side, once we sold the movie, there was all these marketing tools that we have been speaking about. So like the website and all the job that Sarah did, and we organized some Zoom between Jour de Fête and Cineart and the Swiss and the Canadian, you know, and Flore has been really also active and is really active in this communication and meetings together, because you know it's nice to have all the distributors together because of the NGO, etc., to communicate and have it adapted to their own territory. So all the website, the NGO, etc., it's been it's always nice to say, you know, the experience of the school, the teachers, and everything. Like recently, I know that Denis and Flore had a Zoom with Troy from Kismet in Australia, and you know, even if the release will happen like in March in Australia and New Zealand, so March of next year, you know, on time they speak together and see how we can help, and especially Flore. So I think it's a great thing to do that. And yeah, it's not finished. I mean, as Flore was saying, like right now we have the theatrical releases, and even the life of the movie, you know, there will be of this project, there will be the video on demand, and it will be on TV, it will be on platform. So we have still many years. And as Denis was speaking about festivals, you know, next week it's going to be in Hong Kong, etc. And that's also interesting to, you know, to speak about the projects, because it goes to different festivals. It goes to French festivals, but it goes to documentary festivals. It goes to climate or green festivals. So it's not like, you know, in one slot. It's very diverse. So because the film is about it, like you know, so that's the career of the film.
Thank you. I think it's very clear that you have luckily a lot of different possibilities also for the film. Marc, when you listen to Sarah, 100,000 tickets together with some company, is it something in the Netherlands like you dream of and you say, oh my God, I want to do it the same way? Is it possible? How do you translate the initiatives that Nicolas or Sarah and of course Denis and Flore propose? And to what extent it's possible, and to what extent you have actually to say, well, maybe we would need also maybe more help. That's something for us. UniFrance as a promotion agency, is there something that you think we should do specifically on these films that are more bigger than a film?
Well, you know, like on emulating the 100,000 would be delighted to do that. But you know, like it's a slightly smaller territory. But I think all the work that happened at you know, that Flore did, that Jour de Fête did, that Indie Sales did, they've been helping us a lot. And in the Netherlands, we'll release the film in early December. And the reason for that was also that we thought we should you know, do it in such a way that if the ITFA, the documentary festival, wanted the film, they could do so, and they've embraced it. Which is wonderful, and they've also embraced it that it'll go on the ITFA Extended, which is across many cities in the Netherlands. So that's a good launch platform. On, you know, what can be done to help us, I think Flore and all the work that has been done in France on the website and all that stuff was extremely useful. And it doesn't happen a lot that there is such a team effort. I have to say it's quite special on this one, and you sense it, and we sense it, you know, from the people on this panel, but we also here internally, we started working on it quite a long time ago. Melati was here this summer. You know, we've hired someone that was dedicated to striking all the partnerships that we wanted to do. We started, you know, also working with the press quite a while ago, and we're also learning. You know, the good thing about this is we've learned also from other releases in Belgium or in Switzerland. And I think, you know, like a website is always great, and the material we have is wonderful. It'll be translated into Dutch, but more importantly, it's the activation and the amplification of that. So we will use the website a lot. And we'll also, you know, I think the website is also structured with three main pillars. which are, like discover, which is kind of information, which is join and act. And I think the aspect of join is going to be critical. So it's really to push people to organize screenings, to embrace the film, and there also a lot of our targeting goes more to the gatekeepers than, let's say, to the end viewers. I mean, obviously we'll do the usual marketing campaign, but I think we want to target a lot the NGOs, the teachers, and all these intermediaries that will be embracing the story and embracing this this great film. So that's one thing that we're working like a lot on, and we have great NGOs that have come on board, like Young Impact. Deloitte will also be doing a lot of things with the film. We have Oxfam. We're still working on other ones, so hopefully for the release we'll have more. And as you were saying, until now, I think the obsession with theatrical releases is one thing that distributors quite often have. But in this case, we have like a few moments for this film, or a few phases. The first one is the release at ITFA, which would be a big splash here. Then we have the theatrical release. During the theatrical release, there's a lot of events that will be organized and screenings with partners and the different NGOs or companies I mentioned before, and we'll leverage all that stuff once it goes into VOD early next year. So it's an ongoing effort we'll be doing. And you were asking Daniela how UniFrance could help us. I mean, you help us a lot. I need to think a bit more about what more you can do, but I think we've been super happy of all the help of Flore and Melati, and also the mother of Melati is Dutch. So everybody has been we've been working with everyone on this one. So that's good, and we hope to have a very successful release.
Denis, while listening to all of these strong partners that you have, is there something as a producer, do you think you somehow fulfill what you wanted to do with the film? Is there something that you really think you missed out, or you can say, well, because I think it's really jointly, we did it?
Yes, I think we must use the term we, because it's a really collective story. And as Flore mentioned, we really worked hand in hand. And since the beginning, she was much involved in the production also. I mean, it's not just me. And we could convince different partners. And yes, I'm very happy. And I think the film, it just, the story is going on and will go on for a long time, because and this was our goal since the beginning, because otherwise you release a film and then it disappears. And we also have a future project to build on this film. We are working with a French public agency called AFD, Agence Française du Développement. And they supported us financially for the conception and the building of the website. And they have also some programs dedicated to young people. So just we are just meeting, we are just concerned with the same kind of problems. They are and we are working together to set up an impact fund, so that we can gather money and raise funds for funding for helping young people in their different actions all over the world. So this was also well, this is a process, a long process, but we talked about such a project from the beginning with Flore, and we hope we're gonna make it. So, well, this is more than a film.
So you somehow turn the good energies into an even bigger project, if I understand right.
Yes, yes.
There's something before we close I really would like to address, because we are here also during ITFA, which is one of the most important documentary film festivals over the world. I would like to thank all the team of ITFA, by the way, because we really try to work efficiently together. And I think, as Marc, you just said, it's also important for the life of a film to have this kind of festivals that help. We spoke, of course, of Cannes, but it's also on other national territories. We need festivals like ITFA, and thank you. But it's a documentary film festival where you have films that are made for TV, films that are made for cinema, who coexist together. And Denis, you spoke about it, about this reflection, about to make a film for cinema with Bigger Than Us. Flore had experiences as a filmmaker for TV productions. And I really would like to say, all those who listen to us today or watch us and didn't see the film, you really have to watch it in your country, in a cinema, wherever you can, because as Flore said, there is a it's beautifully shot. It takes us to a lot of places in very surprising ways, and it's a big emotion. And I think, Flore, I want to hear you about that, because I think it was part also of your, especially with a strong main character, not male, it's female character, main character like Melati. You really bring us Melati very close to us with her emotions out of an 18-year-old woman or girl. And I think this, you really made the point on that, and I think that was part of your reflection about TV and or cinema. So I really would like to hear you about that as more or less closing.
Well, I was really challenged also here by Denis and Marion, who really pushed me, but it's true that I crossed the road of Melati through a previous project for TV, and I did the first work with her on TV, and that was quite, formatted. She has she's obviously extraordinary, but she's extraordinary on TV. And I met her, and I was blown away by her intelligence and everything that you see in the character in the film. But I felt like she had more to give us, and she had more to experience than just being the perfect girl telling the perfect story about climate change. And I must admit that now, when I'm looking backward, I feel really privileged that she accepted to go on the road with me, because I pushed her a lot. I pushed her out of her comfort zone, which was Bali and the environment, and she went and went into favelas where you could hear people fighting and with guns. She went in Lebanon where war was happening. She went down to Malawi, meeting girls 12 years old who had already 2 kids. Like, for a girl 18 years old who had never seen any kind of, I guess the worst image she had been exposed to was a turtle with a plastic bag around her neck. Uganda, Malawi, the refugee crisis. She went, and she's super brave, and she accepted the camera all along the way, even though she was not the picture perfect she used to be. And that's a link of trust between us two. And that's, before filming, I'm a writer. My first job is to write, so I know the power of a story, and I know that a story that have been already there is a story that is already done. So I'm not interested in that. And what Melati, I was interested in the backstory of Melati, what's not on the surface, and she allowed me to break the surface. And yeah, for a TV format, I had already done it. I would never have even start to venture there. But for cinema, this is the great playground that cinema can allow, is that you have time, you push the boundaries, you push your characters, and you venture together out in the world. And that was a privilege for me that she accepted it. That was a privilege for me to have Denis and Marion pushing me. And again, I will go back to this. I explained that we had this debrief in public where we were explaining filming after filming what we had experienced in every country. And most of the talking I had was about Melati and my relationship with her, and the difficulty it was to also, she's a teenager. I mean, you know, it's not that easy. She's not a professional actress, and she's an activist, so she's strong. And so that was all about the relationship we had. And I'm glad we got that on cinema, because she's much more than an activist, even though being an activist is great. She's much more than a teenager, and the story she can bring and that she can implement is much more than just the environment. And I would say that too about her, and that was a big surprise. Everybody in the film. I mean, I cannot wait to see them grow. You know, we're just ending COP with the despair of seeing how politicians are dealing with these issues. Well, you know, we have seen the future. I mean, they are leading and they are pushing the envelope. And I'm glad we got that, and I'm glad you know, I'm not glad. I'm feeling lucky. I had the chance to meet them.
Indeed, I think we might have or not seen some future presidents, the presidents of some countries, which is also in the film. And I think the strong thing is that whatever age, everyone can connect to the characters, and it starts with a very young generation, which is rare, because we all know how difficult it is to get our teenagers into the theaters, and how even more difficult it is to get them to watch a documentary only by saying, oh, we go to see that, and they discover it's documentary, I don't know, and actually they come because this young generation speaks directly to them. And I think this is what you all managed somehow, I think, in your way of filming, in the way you bring the film to the public, to say aloud and to make it feel through the website, through the marketing materials, that it's actually a film that made by a young generation, for a young generation also. And I think this is really something, that's why we, all of us, and especially we as UniFrance, I really, it pushes us to think also bigger than us, because that's why, Marc, when I said what to do, what can we do, what do we have to do, I think this is something typically we have as an institution also to think what we can do specifically for films like Bigger Than Us. There are not so many, so it's not suddenly a huge charge of organizer, but I think we have to think together. I really like the idea of the joint initiatives, because I think that's also what films like Bigger Than Us need. I mean, probably all of our French films need, but especially a documentary that has an impact on our new generation. And I hope that we have some of the younger generation listening to us today. I would really like to thank all of you. I don't know if you want, someone wants to say, Sarah, I see you. Do you want to say a few words? We have a little bit of more time. So Sarah.
No, I just want to add one quick thing, just to complete what Marc and Flore said and what you said, Daniela, about the impact on the young generation. We did experience it throughout the Q&As we organized with the activists. So we had Mary Finn and Mohamed Al-Joundeh coming to France, and they did some Q&As with the children, and it was absolutely amazing to see the impact on the teachers first, and on the young generation, how the students came out of the screening. And I can assure you that probably at least a third of them are going to become activists after they've seen the film. So it's really worthwhile developing the theatrical impact of the film. And even though the children wouldn't go by themselves, I think it's up to the adults to take them and show them that the film can have a real impact on them. And I've got here, I'm just going to show you, now we're collecting some feedbacks from the teachers and the students, and we're going to put them all on the website together with Dorothée, who works with Flore and Denis. And it's amazing what they write about the film, what they write about the activists, and what they write about what they're going to do after they've seen the film. So that's all what I wanted to add. And definitely the school screenings will continue for a long while. So it's not over.
Flore?
Yeah, just to build on that, one of the biggest joy we have, or I have, is to go in screenings and meet the students and the kids. And obviously, what is happening is that, yes, we have put the film in the hands of people who cares about kids and who cares about their future. So yes, that would be teachers, that would be NGOs. Sometimes this is companies. This is coming from not that obvious places. But what is happening also is kids reaching to us because they want to organize their own screenings for their friends to see their film. So the whole point of the impact strategy now, and what Sarah has been doing so well with her team, is to take these demands, take this request for screenings and make it happen along with cinemas. And this is happening every day. Like we have at least two person fully dedicated to organize these screenings every day. And obviously, as you said, I cannot go everywhere, but what is happening is I'm doing videos a lot and in France, but also I did last week in Vancouver with kids that were 11 years old. And after that, the parents wrote to me. I mean, and you know, this is the magic of it. Like we push. And yes, the starting point is the cinemas. But after that, what is happening is that the film is becoming a part of the curriculum in schools in France, and they are using all over the year. So it's because of the contents, it's because of the very context we are in. And every day we got the proof that, yes, we have to push these ideas to kids because, you know, this world is theirs, and there's not a lot of resource to help to guide them. And again, we have to educate each other.
So bigger than us, a never-ending story. I think I just want to give some dates because Marc, can you remind us when it's going to be released in the Netherlands, please?
Yes, it's 2nd of December for the release, and prior to that, it'll be shown extensively at the ITFA.
And Nicolas, some other territories that are still to come out, yet to come out?
As I said, the ones coming up would be Germany, beginning of next year, Austria, New Zealand, and then we are still waiting for some dates like in Poland, ex-Yugoslavia, etc. But still, of course, the movie started in September in France. It would be, I guess, until it's still on. So I guess all the first semester of next year in theaters around the world. And I want to wish good luck to Marc.
So thank you so much for all of you. We will push this panel out on our social media and on our website in a few days. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and thank you for your great work. I think just all of those who didn't see the film, go to see it wherever you can, but mostly in a cinema. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.